Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Job Seeker Spotlight with Ira Bowman. I am Ira Bowman, your host. I actually was scheduled to be with a co-host today, Liz Capants, but we had a little bit of a scheduling conflict with time zones. Sometimes things get confusing. So I'm here in the Pacific time zone and she is in the Eastern time zone. So she is going to join next week. In fact, I'm thinking about bringing her on a permanent basis. So it's probably going to be Job Seeker Spotlight with Ira and Liz moving forward. But I look forward to that. But right now, I'm excited. My buddy Scott is in the green room. And Scott, if you're ready, I'm going to bring you on in just a second. But there's really two things that we're trying to do with Job Seeker Spotlight. It's not about me. It's not about Liz. It's really about the job seekers and trying to help you get a job faster. One of the ways that we're going to do it is what I'm going to do with Scott here in a second. I'm going to bring him on the show and help raise his visibility on all social media. We're on LinkedIn, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook. This goes on Project Help You Grow. I'm going to start adding each and every one of these episodes on the Project Help You Grow just to increase your visibility across the board. Also, some people, most of you, are a little bit gun shy to come on the camera, and I totally understand that. So as a second thing that we do on the show, we do social media profile reviews. So if you would like to get your profile reviewed on the show, all you need to do is go in the comments. Like, let's say you want me to do your LinkedIn profile. That's the most common one. You would take your LinkedIn profile URL and you would paste it in the comments and say, hey, can you please do a review for me on the show? I'll be happy to do that. I just need your permission to do that. Now, if you want me to do your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, your YouTube, or any other social media platform, put that link in there and do the same thing to say, hey, can you please review my profile? And I'll be happy to do that. Now, if you're a recruiter watching the show, if you're in HR, if you're any type of career coach, resume writer, any of those things, and you want to come on as a guest, you're more than welcome to come on the show as well. I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to put an invitation to the show in the comments. So to join as a guest, to come into my green room like Scott is right now, I'm going to put the link. You click on the link. Don't click on the picture. That'll ask you to sign up for a StreamYard account. You don't want to do that. Just click on the link and that'll bring you into my green room. Okay, so to join the show as a guest. Sorry, I can't type and not talk. So please click on this link. All right. Sorry, I know that's not really probably the best way to do it, but I produce my own shows. So there you go. If you click on that, it'll bring you to the green room. And what'll happen is you'll be in the green room just like Scott was. And once I see you and everything's good and I'm ready, I'll bring you on. Scott, welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, glad to be here.
And just in full disclosure, Scott and I know each other. In fact, our children might get married one day, which is kind of crazy. But anyways, we go to church together. We know each other. So there it is. Scott, hang on with me for just 1 second. I'm actually going to bring up your profile here on social media so that people can find you. And Scott spells his name wrong. It's only one T. It's not his fault. It's his parents' fault. But anyways,
Right.
I digress. Let's go. Share screen. Share that one. Okay. So this is Scott Schaefer, everybody. So he's a sales associate. Well, he was a sales associate at Ace Hardware. Now, I bring this up. I'm going to share his LinkedIn profile URL here. So find Scott here. That's what I really want to say. So that way, if you guys want to find him, you can find him on social media. You can find him right there. Okay. Just sharing this out on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So you can find it whichever platform you're on. Find him, send him a connection request. He doesn't have a lot because he's relatively new to LinkedIn. Look, he's only got 34 connections. We have room for 30,000. So he's got plenty of room to accept everybody. So just do me a favor. When you send him the connection request, say, hey, I saw you on an Irish show. So he knows you're not trying to sell him something, but you're actually trying to help him out. That would be a good thing, right? Okay. So Scott, first things first. I love your profile photo. Very good because it represents who you are today. Sometimes people, the mistake they make with these profile photos is they'll have them like airbrushed, and I'm a photographer. I use Photoshop, so I get it. But the fact is, when you go for the interview, you want to look the same way you look in the picture. You don't want them to do a double take and go, oh, you must have like a 20-year-old profile photo. You don't want that. Like when I shaved my head, I had to change my profile photos because now I'm going, with the chrome dome. So you've seen my baby pictures, the ones for when I got married. That's on Facebook. But on LinkedIn, you have a profile photo that matches. So that's good. The number one thing that I would tell you right now, actually, there's two things I would like desperately ask you to change. First thing, let's get you a profile cover photo. So we want something here because this kind of helps to highlight that what you're doing on social media, which admittedly you're relatively new to this, so I get it. But we need to add a cover photo there. And what I typically recommend is that you would put over here on the right-hand side what you are looking to do, right? Just a couple power words, like, whatever it is that you're trying to do. So I'll show you some examples of that. I'll actually make one for you because you're my friend, so we can work on that after this show is over. But the other thing is, and this is really a common mistake that people are making on LinkedIn, guys. This is the default headline is your last job title. But because there is a place down here in experience for that, the headline really shouldn't be your title, especially when you're looking for a new job, because you're no longer with ACE, you're gone, right? So that really this, if anything, it should say formerly, but I don't even want you to do that. What I recommend that people do is change it to what you want to do or what you're looking for. Specifically, think like an employer for a second. I'm actually going to make the screen bigger. Okay. So what happens? Recruiters come up into right here and they start to type sales associate, right? So think about it from this type of perspective. What do I want to have in my title is what I think they're going to search for and find me. Okay. So that's what we want to do. I'm going to go back to your profile. So right here, if you know that you want to stay in sales, then you want to keep sales as the first word. If you want to change and get into management, which I think is probably a better fit for you, right? So some type of management, we would want to change sales to management, right? And so you could say department manager or department lead, and you can put all those things in. You have 120 characters. So that's what I would recommend that you do. Just think like a recruiter or somebody who's hiring and go, what are the most descriptive words? What are the words that come to mind? You know what I mean? So management, technical, customer service, sales, you could have all those things in there. I would take and put all those words for you as opposed to what you have here. Sales is okay, but it's not what you're really looking for. And you don't need to give Ace Hardware any publicity. They're not paying you for that. You're advertising for them and they're not paying you. So let's stop advertising for them. Start helping you out. So that's some basic stuff. That's for not only you, Scott, that's for everybody who's watching. Okay. So for all of you at home that are watching on TV or your computer or your phone or wherever you're watching from, if your headline is your title and your company name, let's fix that. I'm going to show you mine real quick, just because I don't want to pick on Scott so much. I mean, I do, but that's another story.
Hey, what are friends for?
That's right. Okay, so my headline, this is now, I'm not a job seeker, okay? So mine's going to be a little bit different than yours, but you kind of get the idea. So mine says, I can build your business website and social media traffic, Bowman Digital Media Services, and then it has a list of social media management, website developer, graphic design, photography, videography, SEO. Why do I have that list in there? Because if they don't know me and they don't know Bowman Digital Media, they might search for social media management or SEO or graphic design. You see what I'm saying? So I'm trying to use the words in my headline that they would search for in this search section right here, right? So you just do the same thing. You just do it as a job seeker. So you're putting candidate profile attributes, basically. That's really what you want to do. And you want to do, you want to use all of it. So maximize it. And then this right here typically says social media manager, because that's the #1 service that my company provides, is social media management. So that's why I put that there. So if you want to see an example of, I'm going to take you to my cousin. I've done a lot of these for people, but I'm going to bring up my cousin because he's family. So this is an example of what we would do for a cover photo. And this is the kind of thing that I'll make for you, Scott. So we picked the 4 primary attributes. Like, what is his 4 primary skills? Like, if somebody hires him, what is he bringing to the table? He's good at communication, rapport building, training, and analyzing. So we put that up. And then this photo, so he's up in the Sacramento area. So this is a picture of the city where he's from. So that, it helps to highlight, because he didn't want to move, right? You're here in Southern California. So, right. We're going to put, obviously, a picture of, the Inland Empire or something like that in as part of your photo. Or we might pick, like if you're driving a forklift, or you know what I mean? Because you do drive forklifts too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, that's one of the things that we could do. We could take a photo of like one of your main skills, or not one of your main skills, but any of your skills. Like if you want to work in a warehouse, because I know we were talking last night at church, we were talking about Amazon as one of the potential fits for you. We have all these where we live in Moreno Valley. We have all these giant box buildings. They're cement buildings, and there's a lot of logistics companies out here in the Moreno Valley area. And so Scott would be perfect to maybe run one of those teams or departments for people. So, that's the kind of stuff we could put too. We actually could just pick a big box building and put that up so people kind of get the idea. And then your skill sets, management and so forth on the side. So for anybody else who's watching, if you're not friends with Ira Bowman and you need to do this yourself, there is a free tool out there that you can use. And I love sharing the free tools because Project Help You Grow is completely free. It's Canva. It's CANVA.com. And actually, if you go to my YouTube channel, or if you're watching from YouTube, you actually can see a video where I show you how to create the cover photo on Canva. I walk you through step by step how to do it in that lesson. So find me on YouTube, follow my channel, and then watch the video on how to do that for free. But it's Canva. I'm actually going to put Canva. Okay, I just put that in the comment. Hey, and there's Brady, our other brother. There's trouble. We were all sitting at a table last night, and I was looking at another table going, they're trouble. They were probably looking back at us going, yeah, you guys are the trouble.
Yeah, we are.
So, yeah, look at that. He had autocorrect 2 T's, but then he caught it. It's 1 T. Did they ever tell you why they only used 1 T?
They wanted me to be different, and I sure am.
You are definitely different. That's why we get along so well. So I'm good with that. Okay, so Abraham, are you asking me for to do your profile review next? Because I'd be happy to do that. All I need is just make sure that that's clear, and I'll do your profile review for free. That's really what this show is all about. So let's talk about this, Scott. You worked at Ace Hardware for a long time. It was like 10 plus
9 years. Right? 9 years almost to the day.
Okay, so in this world where everybody's job hopping like every 6 months, you're somebody who stays. So recruiters out there, I've got a winner here for you. If you're looking for somebody who's loyal to the team, Scott is that guy. You're in Southern California. What's a good radius if recruiters or employers are watching this? What's a good radius for you as far as how far would you be willing to go? Let's try to paint them out like a geographic fence.
Let's see. So I live in Riverside, California. Good radius would be probably 25 miles in any direction. That would cover everything from Paris to Corona, out toward Ontario, even Fontana and San Bernardino to the north.
Yeah, so you're pretty much the whole Inland Empire.
Right.
Yeah, okay. So Corona, yeah, that covers 25 miles. That covers pretty much everything. What's that one down south? It's not Temecula, the one right before it, but I guess that's Temecula. You could almost get. Yeah, Murrieta. I was thinking Murrieta. That's probably right at the edge of where you'd want to go, and you probably wouldn't want to go to Palm Springs either.
No, and I'd ideally like to stay out of Orange County only because the traffic is ridiculous down there.
Yeah, 91 or 60 either way is not good. I used to have to go to, oh my goodness, my brain just froze on me. Costa Mesa every Monday. And I would leave my house at 5 a.m. and just barely get there by 8. I hated that commute. Anyways, it's nice to be self-employed. Okay, so anywhere in the Inland Empire, so your Riverside, your Corona, your San Bernardino, there's all kinds of cities there. All right. So now tell us about the job. What would you like to do if you could create your own job? What would it be?
I would love to be a store manager, department lead. I've done all of that. I also have some specific skills because of my work at the hardware store, including the forklift. I also do some locksmithing, tool sharpening. Ideally, I would like to get into management at this point in my life. I've done the grind. I've done the muscle work. I've been that guy. At Ace, I was responsible for putting away all the orders that came into the store. And that's very physical. I've done that. I can do that, but I would really rather get into management at this point in my life.
Yeah, for those of you who can't tell, Scott is a mountain of a man, which is really funny because when I stand next to him, I look like a little kid, but that's all right. Scott's a big dude, so he can lift. But let's talk about this. So Ace is an interesting place because I think that's the jingle I just kind of sung your jingle. But anyways, but it is interesting though because it's retail, but it's also like construction stuff.
Yes.
So
yeah, we had several contracts with school districts, our local city there. A lot of local handymen came through, but also the mom and pa homeowner trying to keep their house and their vehicles running, and we made sure they got what they needed. And we also were there with instruction that they couldn't get from a big store.
Yeah. Well, I think that you have an interesting skill set for a lot of people. What they wouldn't know is you also lead music at church. So you're able to get in front of a large group of people and be the face too. And that takes some skills. So if you're watching this and you have any management positions, front of house or back of house, because like he just said, he's got a bunch. He talked about creating the keys, doing the forklift, doing the inventory. I know you did a lot of work with the inventory, right? So, we lost your audio, Scott. I don't know what happened. Try it one more time. Just put you on mute. I can see it's muted. Try it again. Now you should be good. Apologize, guys. There we go. We're back. Go ahead.
All right, repeat your question for me.
Yeah, so I forget the question. I know we were talking about front of house and back of house. We're talking about doing the keys and the forklift. I don't remember what the question was. I'd have to hit the rewind. But all right. Let's talk about industries. So it could be retail, obviously, but it doesn't have to be retail, right?
It could be.
Yeah. So like you could work for a construction.
I remember your question. You were asking me about my orders and those kinds of things.
Oh, that's right, inventory.
So I was specifically responsible for manhandling and processing 2 orders from our Ace warehouse every week, and that was a half a semi truckload or more twice a week. And then I was also responsible for placing and processing orders through several outside suppliers as well. I was the lead for the plumbing department there, and so I was intimate with the product that we had and why we were having them. I was also in my role as a department lead and assisting in the store management. I was also involved with crisis management in terms of customer relations and dealing with shortcomings in our store or a product and keeping the customers happy with all of that to retain their being customers of our store.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I think you've given people a pretty good flavor of who you are and your skill sets. But let's talk about one more thing. Everybody has special talents. So if someone was to hire you, what would you say your number one, like what's the number one skill that you're bringing to the table?
Dependability
Okay.
is
Yeah.
very crucial to me. I grew up on a dairy farm in the Midwest, and those animals and those responsibilities didn't handle themselves. I was always there to take care of that. I also am a United States Marine, so dependability is a big part of my life. Um, as mentioned earlier, I was with Ace Hardware for 9 years. The only reason that I left is because the atmosphere within my particular store became so toxic that I could not support it any longer.
Well, and you weren't able to fix it because you didn't have the position to fix it, right? So
That's correct. That's correct. It got to a point where I was running the store for my owner because our store manager was out sick for several months. And then one of our other coworkers decided that they were they didn't like that idea, and so then words were spoken to our owners that I was a store manager, and people were thinking of me that way, and that was only by default because the store manager was out and people were looking for somebody to lead them.
right,
So
right.
um,
That's what
yeah,
happens in leadership. In leadership voids, it gets filled by somebody. So you've been married quite a while too, right?
I have. In May, we just celebrated 17 years. I
There you
have
go.
3 kids, and one of them is married now. I've got one in college, and I have one in high school.
There you go. So if you're looking for somebody dependable with management skills who is not afraid to step in and help even above and beyond his job description, because some people won't do that. Scott, that actually is becoming more common where people go, it's not my job description. I'm not going to do it. You're not that guy. You're a troubleshooting, problem solving team player who's dependable and loyal. And I think that somebody would be very, very lucky to have you. Thank you so much for coming on the show, brother. I will speak to you soon.
Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. We'll get that cover photo updated. If you can update your headline, I think that will go a long ways in helping. And again, what I would put on there for you based on this conversation is things like management, leadership, inventory, those types of words. That's the kind of stuff that I would put on there. And then you might even want to put your location, put Riverside, California, right?
Yeah.
So that way when people search Riverside, you come up. So there's some, yeah. So James just asked, where's Scott located? He's in Southern California, James. He is in the Inland Empire, just east of East LA, basically, if you guys are watching. James is from the Midwest too. I think your dairy farm, that was Wisconsin, right?
Michigan and Wisconsin.
Okay, so James is from Michigan. He's in the Detroit area. So he's a
Okay.
contractor up in Detroit.
I
So
grew up a couple hours north of there in the Thumb area.
there you go. There you go. All right. So small world. And James, you feel free to connect to
Yeah.
Scott. He's got plenty of room, and we're trying to help him build his social media profile as well. So, anyways, okay, Scott, thank you very much, brother. Any questions for me before you go?
No, I think that's it for now.
He was going to try and stump the host there and say something smart. All right, Scott, thanks for joining. Again, guys, if you are not connected to my brother Scott, I am going to put his I'm going to put his link. Connect with Scott here. Yeah, so James just said send him a connection request there, Scott. But there's his URL. Everybody, if you want to connect with Scott Schaefer, he's right there. Scott, thank you so much. I will see you later, brother.
Thank you.
All right. So that's Scott Schaefer. Again, if you want to come on the show, I can interview just like I did Scott. I'm going to try to pull out your highlights, give you a little bit of advice on how you can improve your profile and raise your visibility so that maybe somebody that's out there looking for an employee, it's hard with just a resume. There's a suggestion for you, Scott. He thinks HG may be hiring. So it can be tough for folks. It can be tough for folks to read your resume and understand your personality. So it really can be one of these things where they have 100, they have 200, they have 300 resumes. How do they pick? When you do these videos, when you come on shows like this and people see you and they get a feel for your personality, like Scott's not putting on airs, right? He's a down-to-earth person. He's good at what he does. Like he said, his number one attribute is dependability. And who doesn't want that in an employee? Like there's nothing worse than not knowing, are they going to show up? Are they going to ask for a raise every 5 minutes? Are they going to quit tomorrow? Like it's good to know you have a stable, dependable employee that you can train, invest in. And again, when someone says, I hate this phrase, but I hear it a lot. That's not my job. Really? Got to have owner's mentality out there, people. Got to work even when it's not your job. Our job is to take care of our clients, whatever that entails. That's always been my attitude, and it's been pretty popular with all the people who have employed me. Okay, I did have a request from, all right, I don't want to butcher it, but I think it's Babat Tuned. Okay, if I mess it up, I apologize. I have a funky tongue anyways, so I mess up the easy words. But next, I'm going to review your profile. So without further ado, let me pull up your profile here. And okay, first things first, I love the fact that you don't have the generic cover photo. And so you have a cover photo. What I don't like about it is it doesn't tell me what you do. Okay, so I'm looking right here in Microsoft Azure Certified. This is really good, actually, but it could be better. So I love that people will search for that. So the fact that you have that there, that's good. But give me more because you have more character space. So you don't need to stop at Microsoft Azure Certified. You can put a few other things. What else do people search for when they're searching for that? IT, programmer. You list it out. You know better than I do. How do you find it? Well, I'll give you a clue. What's in every single job description that you read? When you're reading job descriptions for jobs that you're going to apply for, what's in every one of those? Whatever the answer is to that question, because for everybody it would be different. But for you, there's going to be certain things that are always in these job descriptions. That's what recruiters are searching for. And you might, if nothing else, put Dubai in there, right? If Dubai is where you want to stay. UAE, whatever, right? Middle East, something. It's okay to have geography in there when geography is part of the search, okay? But use that space. So what I would do right here is I would take this image. I don't mind this image. I would take this image, put it in Canva, or if you have a photo editing software like Photoshop, then by all means use that. But put in here Microsoft Azure Certified. Put in some of the other stuff that you would do. Well, again, programming, IT, whatever, right? UX developer, whatever, right? Put it here for 3 or 4 words. That's all you need. So you could easily go Microsoft Azure Certified. Boom, right? Why? Because some people won't read this. They're going to click here, they're going to see this, and they're going to bounce off. The average profile view on LinkedIn is 6 to 7 seconds. You got to catch that attention right away. Okay. The other thing that I would do if it's me, again, this is a little bit nitpicky, but I'm trying to help you get better. Okay. I think I would recrop this profile photo. I don't mind it. I actually think it's a good photo. The thing that we're getting too much of your chest here and not enough of your face. I want you to just zoom in and bring it down so that I see more of your face. Now, sometimes I know that's tough because of the picture, and I don't know what the base picture is here, so you might not be able to do that. But the goal should be to get shoulders up with your face as big as possible. Why? Because I'm trying to get people to know who you are, to like you, and to trust you as fast as possible. And one easy way to do that is let them see your face. And then also, it's great when you go in for an interview and they've looked at your profile photo on LinkedIn, there's a little bit of a familiarity that happens. So you're building that rapport. I know this is all subconscious and this is a lot of psychology, but believe me, it works. So if you can take this profile photo, kind of like Scott's, shoulders up, face big, boom. And I love the little smile. I know in the UAE that they're not big on smiles. So you can't have a big cheesy grin because of where you're from. And you need to know your local markets, guys. With Project Help You Grow, I've learned pretty much all the local markets around the world. But in the UAE, you don't want a big smile on your profile. But I do like it. You don't look like you're mad. And that's a good thing. Okay. So 299 connections. We need to get you more connections. So keep working on that. I do, for those of you who aren't familiar, it's tomorrow. It's Follow You Friday. I do it every Friday. I do a post where you can come and participate in the comments. You make comments, you let people know that you're willing to connect with them. You get to know them and you build your network. I do it every Friday. There's people who do stuff like that now 24/7. I've been doing it for years. So, come and participate, but be active. The best way to grow your network on social media is to make comments. Everybody thinks it's to make posts. Posts just start conversations. Let me get on my soapbox here for a second. Okay. If you're on social media and you are social, be friendly, right? Be seen. If you go to, some people with large networks and make a comment, that comment will give you the ability to be seen by many more people than if you were to make a great post. So don't sweat making posts. Get involved in other people's posts who are already active. You know what I mean? You can work on your posting skills and building your voice and all that from posting as you go. But if I had to choose, and this is even me now, if I had to choose only between making posts or making comments, I would pick comments every single time. Everybody thinks that content is king, and it is, but on LinkedIn and social media across the board, it's not what you think it is. You get more eyeballs, if you're doing it right, through your comments than you ever will through your posts. Even me, and I have a large audience already. You understand what I'm saying? So make comments, be friendly, add something of value, but do it consistently. Comment. I tell people, look, it's really simple. If you want to be successful, what you do is every time you read a post, just make a comment. If you don't know what to comment about because the topic is over your head, and that happens to me quite a bit, frankly, because a lot of you are really smart and you're talking about technical things. I don't know what you're talking about, but I can always be friendly and say, hey, how are you doing? You can ask about topical things that are happening. Like right now, it's the first day of July. Do you know what that really means in business? That means half the year is gone and half the year is left. So how are you doing halfway through the year? You can ask stuff like that, right? There's always a holiday coming up or a weekend coming up, or we just got past a weekend. Hey, what did you guys do over the weekend? That kind of stuff. You can find something if you want to be social. Just think about like social media. You're at a water cooler. It's water cooler conversations. That's what you put in the comments if you can't add to the actual post content itself. It'll give you a lot. You'll get a lot out of social media if you do that. Okay. Let's keep going here on this because I said I was going to help you. It's good that you're a part of this group. I like this. This is the CV group. This is run by Talal. I'm actually a part of this group too, although frankly, I don't engage with it because I'm not a job seeker, but it is a good group. Okay. So you are making some comments. That's good. One thing you're missing, and I can see it right here, you're missing the featured section. Okay. So what I want you to do, you're Microsoft Azure certified. I want you to get your smartphone out, take a picture of the certification, and make that the very first thing you see in the featured section of your profile. Why? Because you have it. Now we can see it, and that establishes credibility. Now it's not just you telling me, it's you showing me. And some people are visual. They're not going to put it together until they see it and go, oh, this guy's got a certification for Microsoft, for Azure. That's a good thing. We're looking for that. Okay, let's put that in the featured. Also, I recommend everybody do this, and nobody's doing it yet. Introduce yourself in a video. They want to see you speaking. They want to hear you speaking. They want to see that you're not a weirdo. They want to know that you can communicate. They want to kind of get a sense for your personality. I recommend that you keep it to 180 seconds or less. That's 3 minutes or less. So write out a little script. Hi, my name is boom. I do this. I want to work here, and I'm going to make your company better because blah, blah, blah. Do that 3 minutes or less. Stick that in that's the very first thing that goes in the feature if it's me, if you're following my advice. Introduction video, then any certifications, any degrees, all that stuff next in the form of photos. And then I'm going to put up some, if I've written like an article or a blog on the topic, I'm going to put that in there. If I have a YouTube channel, I'm going to put that, that kind of stuff. I'm going to put all in that featured section. And that's going to help people get to know who I am. Hopefully they'll get to like me a little bit. And most important, they're going to learn to trust me. If you can get someone to know you, like you, and trust you, you have an edge over just about everybody. The only thing that's going to hold you back at that point is if you're not actually qualified for the position you are applying for. But if you're qualified and they know you, like you, and trust you, trust me, you have an advantage over just about everybody else that would interview, because that's the hardest thing to establish. And if you can do that in social media before you even get to the interview room, man, you've got such a leg up. Okay. So I'm not going to pick on you anymore. I think I've picked on you quite a bit. I don't want you to feel like I'm a horrible person. But anyways, there you go. So I love the water cooling analogy. Yeah. So, I mean, this is the thing. Most people are not doing social media correctly because we're all out there trying to show everybody how smart we are. And I'm going to tell you a secret. Nobody gives a crap how smart you are, dude. They just don't care because they don't know you. You got to get somebody to know you first. I can pick on Scott. Scott can pick on me. Why? Because we know each other. We like each other. We trust each other. You get it? And then I want to help him. Right? If I don't know you and you're trying to sell me something, I'm like, great, that's spam. You know what the difference between spam and valuable information a lot of times is if you know, like, and trust the person who sent it to you before they sent it to you. You could send me the exact same information. If I know who you are, I'm going to read it. I think, oh, that's valuable information. If I don't know you, guess what? You spammed me. Think about that. Think about it from your perspective. When you're receiving it on your end, what do you want people to do? Then that's what you should do, right? If you spend your time on social media making friends and building relationships, you're going to get a lot further. That's what I do for my clients. Almost every one of Bowman Digital Media's clients, my goal is to build their visibility. So get people to know who they are and then get to know, to like them and to trust them inside their field. So that's what we call social selling. That's what I'm trying to do for my clients, every single one of them. Why? So they can be busy running their business, what they're good at. Okay. I'm glad that you appreciate the suggestions. Now what I want you to do is I want you to enact them, because appreciating them is one thing. Get on it, do the work, and then come on my show next week. Send me your, say, hey, Ira, check it out again. I made this improvement. I did that for Mariella Stockman like 3 weeks in a row. She came on, she said, okay, I made the improvements that you suggested. We checked it, and then we found a little bit more. And I will do the same thing for you. And this is free. Plus, you get more exposure because I'll have you on my show more than 1 week. Okay. So is anybody else interested in, remember now I make 2 offers here. The two offers are you could come on the show like Scott did, which really, I know it's tough. It takes a little bit of courage. I get it. But if you do that, that's actually the most help I can give you because I'm raising your visibility. Now, remember, this isn't just LinkedIn or Facebook or YouTube, wherever you're watching this from. It's all three. And it's not just live now. This actually will be seen many more times after the show is over. Don't ask me why it works that way. It just does every single time. I get off and I'll have like 300 or 400 people who watched it. And I'm like, it wasn't that big of a show. And then I come back the next day and there's like 2,000, 3,000 views. And I go, wow, that's cool. Right? So you'll be seen quite a bit if you come on the show. Now, if you're not ready for that, you don't have good lighting, you're not dressed, you weren't ready, okay. Let me do a profile review for you, just like I just did for, I don't want to say his name because I don't want to butcher it again. Right? Okay. But I'll do a profile review for you if you want. And that's free. You could do that now. And then come on and be with me next week. Now, while we're waiting, one of the things I always like to do is I like to show people. So I'm waiting for people to ask for a review. Okay. So if you want me to review your profile, let me know. Okay, somebody says, more than a job, I care about finding balance in my life. And if happiness means no job, then so be it. And I don't disagree with that. I don't know who said that just quite yet. Oh, okay, that was Salma. Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. My job actually fired me. Well, I mean, they called it a furlough and then I got laid off. But, at the end of the day, I didn't have a job. Instead of going to work for somebody else, I created my own company so that I could be happy. And part of that was no more commute. I didn't have to do that commute to Costa Mesa on Monday mornings and leave my house at 5 a.m. anymore, And I moved from the Bay Area down to Southern California because I didn't want to have to go from Manteca to San Francisco every day, right? That was 3 hours each way. So I get it. Totally get balance. And I agree with you. So find something that makes you happy, even if it's for less money. And you got to change your lifestyle to accommodate, the new pay structure. That's fine. Totally. Life balance is super important. I don't know if you guys are following my health journey, but I had gained a lot of weight. And I feel like we're about to have a moment. So I'm going to zoom in. So in 2021, I made 21 goals because it's the year 2021. I made 21 goals. I did 14 business goals because, it's my business, Bowman Digital Media. I own it in full disclosure, just like I own Project Help You Grow. And I made 7 personal goals. And one of those goals was to get healthy. I don't have a number like I'm trying to hit this magic number on the scale, although I am monitoring my weight. But one of the things I did commit to do was exercise, right? Lots of exercise, consistent exercise. Well, I put in 12,000 steps before 10 o'clock yesterday and today, 2 days in a row, right? And my steps for the year, if you look at it, my steps for the year are like a stair step, right? It's like a staircase. So I'm committing 2 hours a day, Monday through Saturday, 6 days a week, 2 hours a day to exercise. I get out. Now, I happen to be a Bible believing man, right? So I have a Bible app on my phone. So I listen to my Bible while I walk, and that helps me too. Now, that's my personal beliefs. I know everybody has their own faith, but for me, the reason why I do all that, and I listen to music too, but I do that for the balance. So I agree. It's important to be in a healthy mental place. It's important to take care of our bodies. We only get one chance at this, right? I don't want to die with regrets that I didn't take care of myself or I didn't spend more time, on those things that are important to me too. So it's not all about work. And you're not use your title, whatever your title is. I love Talal a lot. Talal's my friend. Okay. The one thing I love about Talal, if you go to his thing, it says titles are not important. And I agree. We're people. We're all humans. We all have the same intrinsic value, right? As human beings. God loves us all the same, frankly. No matter if you're the CEO, the janitor, or anything in between, right? Doesn't matter. He loves us all. And that's good to me. Okay, so I'm going to table that. But I do appreciate what you're saying, and I do agree with it. Now, Project Help You Grow has on this is a free website, by the way, and there's no tricks. Sometimes people are like, what's the catch? There is no catch here, guys. This is my website. It's a gift to you and everybody around the world. It works everywhere. But what I want to talk to you guys about today, go to the blog. So many people private message me looking for information, and I've addressed it in a blog. Like if I haven't addressed it in a blog, I actually would then answer the question. But usually I'm like, here, read this blog because I talk about it. For example, how to get around ageism. This is something that a lot of people fight it. It's like you have 20 years experience, 25 years experience, 30 years experience, and you're having trouble finding a job because, you know, as a full-time employee with benefits, you're going to be expensive for their healthcare premiums, right? It's going to, the cost of hiring you. Plus, they don't know how long you're going to work. Are you going to work 5 years, 2 years, 1 year, and retire? You know, they don't know. But I teach how to take that like jujitsu and flip the momentum on its ear and use that to your advantage. Now, I tell you why ageism exists. It's basically because of money. I debunk it, why it's actually stupid. I have a video you could watch too, by the way. The video is a little bit old, but you can watch it. But then I talk about how to get around it, what to do the whole way through, how to set up your resume, what to do in the interview, all that stuff. So read this blog, watch this video, and get the help you need. Again, you don't have to be logged in. You don't. There's nothing to join. There's no club. There's no premium. There's no shopping cart. You couldn't give me a dime on a penny, a single cent. There's no place for you to pay anywhere in here. There's also no commercials. There's no advertisements. There's nothing, right? Even I had a sponsor. I've had a couple different sponsors now over the past year, but the sponsor dropped off, right? So there's me and there's me. I own the website. I run the website. It's all paid for by me, okay? So there's no ads on here. Now, I do have a partners tab if you want to find it. And these are companies that I do recommend. So you could come and check these out if you want, but you don't have to. In fact, most people don't even know where this page is, right? It's under the About Us page in the Partners tab. Most people will never get there. But there's one of my previous sponsors, Panna Nose, right? And then actually, I'll just give her some credit too because she's my friend down here. Where did I put her? Oh, there she is, Erica Warfield. She used to be a partner, a sponsor as well. Okay, so I've had a couple sponsors. So, and then spring, anyways, doesn't matter. Okay, so come to the blog, read that. Now, if you're not a reader, you don't like to read, you can also go to my podcast page. What's on the podcast page? Well, on the podcast page, I don't know why I took a second there, but things like find a foreign job with Juliana Robbie. Things like, you know, how to fix your resume. COVID-19 advice. Now, this one's a little bit old now, but, you know, when COVID-19 first broke out, a lot of people didn't know what to do. Like, should we wait until COVID-19 is over to start looking for a job? And I thought that was ludicrous back then, and I bring that up in the interview. But, you know, aren't you glad you didn't wait? Because who knew it was going to take all this long, right? But advice, career advice, COVID-19 advice with Michelle Trino, a better mental mindset, like for Salma. You might want to watch this, right? Watch it. She discusses how to improve your mindset, especially for those who are frozen by fear with COVID. Professor Pete Alexander, if you're not familiar with him, has hundreds, literally hundreds of stress release tips, all free. Watch this interview. Check him out at petealexander.com and get stress relief tips. That's the kind of stuff that you can get here on Project Help You Grow in the podcast section. You can watch them. They all run 10, 15 minutes. they're not terribly long. Courtney Kirschbaum used to run the Job Hunt School. I think that's now defunct, but anyways, Conquering the ATS with John Pohl. A Balanced Approach to Job Search with Career from Norma Kraft. Right, all kinds of good stuff. Ben Baker's been on my show. James Ward has been on my show. RDG up in the Detroit area again. If you're a veteran, Brittany Lenhart, Chris Dove Jr., all kinds of people have been on the show. And some of these are old, you can tell because I have hair. So anyways, there you go. But that's Project to Help You Grow, okay? So that's called Project Podcast. You can find it. It's Project to Help You Grow is the URL. I'll go ahead and drop this link. Okay, so I dropped that in the comments. If you guys want to find it, there it is. Okay, and I don't have any other requests for profile views. So I'm going to just ask one more time. If you're watching and you want a free profile review, go ahead and let me know in the comments right now. Or if you want to join me live on stage, you're welcome to do that too. We're scheduled to go 7 more minutes. If I don't get somebody in the next 60 seconds or so, we'll just cut this episode short because I do have something I need to jump on following this. So I was going to cut it right at 4 anyways, my time, which is 7 o'clock Eastern time, adjust for wherever you are. But if you want to jump on the show, by all means, you can do that. If you're not ready today to jump on the show, then be ready to go next Thursday. I do this show every Thursday. Next week, again, I'm going to have a co-host with me next week, Liz Capants. She is an incredible talent from New York. So we're going to have California and New York both represented on the show next week. And I'm thinking about bringing her on the show permanently. So you're going to get advice from more than one voice. And that's kind of what I like. Again, this is about the job seekers, helping you guys find a job faster. I know it can be tough. There's some data out there that suggests that the job market is it's kind of switched. Like when you're selling a home, there's a buyer's market and a seller's market. Well, where I'm at in California right now, it's a seller's market, right? They get multiple offers and all that stuff. Well, it's been an employer's market for a long time, right? The employers have had all the control. Right now, they're saying that there's been a switch and that it's more an employee's market, but I haven't seen that yet. One thing I have started to see, the job offers out there are coming in under what they traditionally have been. So I'll be interested to talk about that more in detail next week if you guys would like. The offers, look, when you get an offer, it's a negotiation, right? Now, some employers will not budge off of that number. It's take it or leave it. But in my experience, I have found most of the time they are willing to negotiate. So, don't necessarily start with, the absolute lowest you'd be willing to accept. In fact, I have a blog where I discuss that, my suggestion, my strategies on how to handle negotiations for your salary. And there's more to it than just the gross pay, right? There's the benefits, there's the quality of life, there's working from home now, right? Maybe you don't need to go to into the office 5 days a week. Maybe you can do that like 1 or 2 days a week and work from home the rest of the time so you don't have to commute. It's one of the things for me personally that has been a huge blessing about taking over and running Bowman Digital Media as opposed to having a regular job. Because I was commuting, before in the Bay Area, I was commuting 5 or 6 hours a day. Now, in Southern California, I was only commuting a few hours a day. But because now I run my own business and I work from my home, I don't commute at all. Unless I'm going to a job, I do photo shoots and video shoots. So if I'm going on a location, but that's, not every day. You know what I mean? And so what have I gotten with that? Well, I told you already, I'm taking 2 hours a day for my health. So I have that good health life career balance, right? I'm at home for lunch almost every day and for dinner every day. And that makes my life, my quality of life better. And so that's the kind of stuff that even if they're not willing to negotiate on the salary, you can negotiate maybe on some of those things too, right? So it isn't about having a fancy gym membership and coffee per se, as it might be, the ability to work from home, the flexibility to work from home, and then some of the benefits, insurance and healthcare and those things. So anyways, all right. Nobody has asked for a review here in the last few minutes. So I'm going to sign off a little bit early. My name is Ira Bowman. This has been Job Seeker Spotlight with Ira Bowman. Next week, Thursday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. Join me again. Same topic, same format. The only difference is going to be I'm going to have a co-host with me, Liz Capants. I'll let her introduce herself and tell you her background and all those things next week. I hope you will join me then. Job seekers, keep your chin up. There is hope. If you need help, there's free help at projecthelpyougrow.com. Engage in comments on social media. Remember, think of it like a water cooler. The more social you can be, the more you raise your visibility, the better chance you're going to have that you run into people and you meet people who are willing to help you with that job search. Don't give up. There is hope out there. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much for joining.